Opening weekend is officially in the books, and now we have real baseball, meaningful baseball to finally react to right here on this episode of the Dugout Dispatch. Baseball is back, baby. If you've been living underneath a rock, opening weekend is finally here and gone. And man, we had some interesting things happen. We saw some interesting things at Wrigley Field.
It was good. You and me were live, boots on the ground in Chicago. It was nice. It was just nice to be back in that environment, in that atmosphere. Yeah, the weather sucked. It was a little cold, but Steve, we got meaningful baseball back, and that is
it's a beautiful thing. It was like a nice, warm 34, 36 degrees sitting in the bleachers at Wrigley Field.
Christmas in March. Christmas came early.
You were smarter than me. I went for like one cold beverage, but you had the nice hot pretzel. I should have went with something hot.
Dude, I was craving that
nice
all
cold
winter.
Beverage.
I was craving that pretzel all winter.
It's like the size of a pizza, dude. I was like, wow, he wasn't joking.
It's Wrigley Field's. It's one of their best kept secrets as far as food. No one ever thinks about it, and it's awesome.
You know, at some point we're gonna have to do like a review on some ballpark food. There's some crazy stuff out there at different ballparks.
There's several stuff just at Wrigley that I only discovered these last 2 years. Like I never knew in center field there was a small cheval, and now I know.
Yeah,
it is awesome. Oh, I learned it. I guess it's about it's been about 2 seasons now. But when I found out about that, that's a game changer, dude.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, everybody, welcome to this episode of the Dugout Dispatch. I'm Steve Jewell, Tyler Edmonds here with me, and we're recapping opening day weekend, baby. Let's start with the Yankees and the Giants. Let's start in the Bronx because this one was one of the loudest statements of the weekend. The Yankees didn't just win the series, they dominated it. They swept the Giants, opened with a shutout, and never really gave San Francisco a chance to breathe offensively. And here's the key. It wasn't just one guy. It was pitching depth, bullpen control, and timely hitting. That's the formula of a real contender, in my opinion. Meanwhile, for the Giants, this is one of those weekends where you don't overreact, Giants fans. Just hang in there. But you definitely take notes. The offense looked flat. And if that doesn't wake up soon, it could be a long, early stretch. Is their pitching for the Yankees actually elite or just ahead early, Tyler? And do you trust this offense long term?
I think the Yankees pitching is definitely elite, especially when they get back Garrett Cole and who's the other guy, the lefty, Carlos Rodon. But I'm not surprised with the Yankees' performance this past weekend. The Yankees are the Yankees. We knew their offense was going to be great. The Giants, on the other hand, yeah, like you said, it's early, and we'll say that for a lot of teams. But this offense, that lineup is too good to score hardly any runs, especially against the Yankees. Yeah, I get it. It is the Yankees, but still, the Giants still have a good offense. I'm going to be interested with San Francisco with Tony Vitello. His post-game press conferences after these games are very interesting, and it's just going to be interesting to see if that's going to be a story all season long as far as him coming over from college baseball with Tennessee and just how that's going to work.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. You know, it wasn't the best start for Tony and his club, but you know, we'll see how they bounce back. I think they got the win yesterday.
They did.
We'll see how they fare tonight against the Padres. Next up on the slate, we got the Dodgers versus the Diamondbacks series. You got the Dodgers, right? Doing exactly what the Dodgers do right out of the gate. They sweep Arizona, and honestly, it felt routine, and that's what makes them dangerous. Nothing looked forced. You know, they won different ways, you know, close games, situational hitting, late game execution. This wasn't just talent. This was a team that already looks in mid-season form. And if you're the rest of the NL, yeah, nothing's changed. You're still chasing them for sure. Hot take. The Dodgers are already on cruise control, and that's bad for the league. They sweat
Oh,
without
for
stress.
sure.
That's scary. They don't even look like that they were even really trying yet. But we've seen this before. Great regular season, postseason questions, nothing new yet. Tyler, is this the most complete Dodgers team out of the gate we've ever seen so far? And who in the NL can actually challenge them, you think?
Oh, for sure, easily. They're definitely the team to beat right now. And this past weekend, it was just a prime example of all their weapons all firing on the same cylinder. You had Mookie Betts, who started off slow last year. He hit a he hit a go ahead home run. You had Will Smith doing what Will Smith does on the first night. And we all probably should have bet on Will Smith hitting a home run opening night because it was Will Smith bobblehead day. But you had Edwin Diaz coming out to close things out. Yamamoto looked pretty solid. The young kid that pitched game two, I can't remember his name, but he looked really solid too. Um, yeah, I mean this Dodgers team, they could coast all season long and it's not going to matter. But yes, they are the most complete out of these last three seasons. Um, as far as challenging for them or who's going to challenge for them, I mean, the Mets look pretty solid. We'll talk about that
Yeah.
later. We'll talk about that later. But I don't know, man. Right now, again, it's early, but the Dodgers are the Dodgers, dude.
Dodgers are the Dodgers. They just kind of coast through, the regular season. And then, I don't think it's been talked about enough. Last season, didn't they start in the wild card spot playing at home against the Reds? Of course, they just cruise controlled, it looked like, all the way up until the World Series game. But yeah, it's just I don't think they care as much about the regular season as long as they just get in the playoffs, which they absolutely can do, and it doesn't matter if they start in a wild card spot, they can
Oh,
take
for
care of
sure. Their
business.
their biggest question is going to be the health of their pitchers, just
Yeah,
like the last two seasons. So if their pitchers can stay healthy, if that bullpen behind Edwin Diaz with guys like Tanner Scott, Blake Trinan, Bruce Dahl Gratterall, um, the
yeah,
other lefty they use pretty often. If those guys can hold their end of the bargain, Roki Sasaki, who he pitched last night and wasn't bad,
yeah,
if he
a
can,
lot better.
he's gonna be a major who another guy that had a horrible spring training. If those guys can hold up their end of the bargain and stay healthy for the most part, that's the big factor. Then they're gonna be exactly right where they were last season.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree with that. Next up on the slate, we had the Blue Jays versus the Athletics. Toronto might have had the most quietly dominant series of the weekend. They swept Oakland, and the big headline strikeouts. A lot of them. I'm pretty sure combined from all pitchers, starting pitchers, relief pitchers, bullpen. I think I heard Steve Phillips say yesterday that they had a total of like 50 strikeouts, I believe, for the entire series. That pitching staff looked nasty. And when you combine that with a lineup that can score and burst, you're looking at a team that can win games in multiple ways and early in the season, versatile in every stinking thing. Is their pitching staff for real, Tyler, or would you take them over Houston or New York?
Oh, for sure, their pitching staff's definitely for real, especially coming off a season where their pitching is arguably what helped them get to the World
Mm-hmm.
Series last year. And then when you throw in a guy like Dylan Cruz or Dylan
At
Cease, I'm
12.
sorry, when you throw in a guy like Dylan Cease, I mean, you're just adding onto that monster. I was really impressed. Kevin Gosman on, I
Yeah.
believe it was Friday, gives up a run early. I want to say he gave up a home run early. I can't remember to who, probably Shea Langeliers because he had a hot series. And then turns around and strikes out 11 batters. I think at one point he retired. It may have been 9 or 10 in a row, but Kevin Gosman looked like Kevin Gosman. He's been prone to the strikeout, and he's really good at it. I was real shocked with
Yeah.
the A's with just I mean, they had an 8-7 game, I want to say in the middle of the series, but I was really surprised not to see more out of that offense, which is going to be their best weapon because their bullpen and their pitching isn't that great. So if they're gonna win games, it's gonna be because of their offense. And not necessarily Nick Kurtz, but Jacob Wilson this series. It's
Yeah,
just one series, but he did not look like Jacob Wilson from last year.
absolutely. And hot take, everybody, hot take. Toronto is a legit World Series threat, given it was Oakland. So let's not overreact to beating a bottom tier team. But I think they are legit another World Series threat. I think it's going to be up, between them and the Yankees again to take the AL and maybe even the Red Sox. We'll see how things shape up there. But yeah, Dylan Cease, man, I think he had 12
He
Ks.
had 12 Ks too, yeah.
Yeah, just nasty up there, straight dealing. Good for Cease.
Mhm.
Next up on the slate, we got the Miami Marlins versus the Rockies. Let's talk about a team flying completely under the radar, and that's the Marlins. They sweep Colorado, including a walk-off finish, and just looked solid. No chaos, no sloppiness, just clean baseball. And sometimes that's the biggest sign of a team that's improved. Not highlight plays, but lack of mistakes. Colorado, on the other hand, struggled to keep up in key moments. So, yeah, do you think that the Marlins can make it to the playoffs this year, or have they just done enough to kind of improve from last season?
Well, it's easy for us to look at the Marlins and get excited, and for a lot of good reasons. Granted, you did open the series against the Rockies, which the Rockies are going to lose over 100 games this year. But my
Yeah,
biggest takeaway, probably yours too, Owen Casey, man. Owen Casey is
Big
going to be a
Red.
star in this league. Has big hits in the first game of the series. Finishes the series with a walk off home run, and it's
Yeah,
great because Miami's they're coming off the World Baseball Classic that they just had in Miami. And for you to turn around
Miami,
in your
Miami.
home team at the home ballpark to sweep your opening day series, it gets the fans excited. Hopefully that place stays rocking all season long. Hopefully, because I'm telling you, that's a tough. I've been there. It's an ugly stadium. It looks like a George Foreman grill, but on the inside, it's kind of pretty cool. And when it's packed, dude, it gets loud in there. It gets so loud in there. And that would be so fun for the Miami Marlins if they were just solid all season long. I mean, Sandy
Yeah,
Alcantara looked good. I want to say he threw
yeah,
6 innings and just looked really, really good. Pete Fairbanks got a save. I think it was on Thursday, which he's got such a funky delivery, but he's so good, man. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I mean, they can mess around and find themselves in a wild card spot. Maybe if obviously you go month to month, but it would not shock me by the All-Star break if they were in the wild card race for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'm just going to go ahead and give another hot take this morning. Marlins are this year's surprise team, I think. I was kind of thinking maybe the White Sox. I just don't know if the White Sox will get to 75 wins, yet alone 80. But I think Marlins are this year's surprise team. I think Miami is going to shock people this year for sure. And real quick, before we wrap up on the Marlins, what do you think their biggest strength right now is? But you have to say it's probably, you know, some of the young talent that they got in.
I think right now it's the because I mean they're off. You could say that they've got a couple good pitchers. They have a couple good hitters. It's not one of those things where one is more overpowering than the other. But I think their biggest strength right now is they're young players stepping up to the challenge so far, even though it's early in the season.
Yeah, man. When I saw Big Red with a walk off, Owen Casey, I don't know why, but just for some reason, I'm like, he's probably going to end up a Yankee. I just instantly
It wouldn't
almost,
surprise me because the Marlins do a lot of deals with the Yankees.
yeah, I just almost immediately saw him in a freaking Yankees jersey. But we'll see what happens. Don't sleep on the Marlins this year, everybody. They could make that wild card
Yep.
spot. We'll see what happens. Next up on the slate, we got the Seattle Mariners taking on the Cleveland Guardians in opening weekend. This one was a split, but don't let that fool you. Seattle closed the series with an 8-0 shutout, and that's what sticks because in baseball, The last impression matters, especially early. Their pitching looked sharp, controlled, and confident. Cleveland held their own, but Seattle feels like the team with more upside coming out of this for sure. Tyler, does it look like that maybe this is too kind of soon to tell, but in your opinion, does it look like the Marlins, or not the Marlins, sorry, still thinking about the Marlins, the Mariners are slated to make another deep playoff run this year, or do
Oh,
you
for
think they
sure.
fall flat?
For sure. I've got the Mariners as one of my top 5 teams in the AL still. I think I've got them at number 3. And
Number
yeah, with
three,
that
like
pitching
that.
staff, behind that pitching staff, with guys like Luis Castillo and Logan, George Kirby and Logan Gilbert and Brian Wu, even though I think Brian Wu's a little banged up right now. But I mean, how can you not say it? You were one game away from going to the World Series last year, and you could argue that this year they improved a little bit more. Um, Julio Rodriguez, if he can continue to step up and be the superstar of this team. Cal Raleigh coming off his magnificent season last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Mariners are the team are going to be one of the teams to beat in the AL for sure. As far as this series, Chase DeLauer or Chase DeLauder, I probably butchered his name, but he debuted last year in the playoffs with Cleveland. So technically, this season was his debut, and hits 4 home runs in his first
Isn't
regular
that
season
insane?
series. Like that's crazy for a rookie to come in and your first series have that big of an impact. I think he's at right now he has 4 home runs with 5 RBIs. That's awesome. Just great.
Yeah.
And
And Brian,
Cleveland always finds itself in the playoff mix. They did it last year. They've done it for the
yeah.
last several seasons since like 2013 or 14. They've always been in the playoff chase. But you know what you got with J Ram. J Ram's going to be J Ram. But if a guy like Chase DeLauer can step up this season, I know that's asking a lot for a rookie, and they're going to need him to. But if he can do that, I'm not going to be shocked to see the Guardians in the playoff mix again.
Yeah, we'll see how that back end of the bullpen for the Guardians shake up. I think it was Smith that was closing things out last night. Their first game against the Dodgers, he did allow 2 runs. They were pretty much holding the Dodgers last night, 4-0 for the majority of the game. But yeah, like you said, Cleveland's one of those teams that don't sleep on them somehow. They always seems like to find themselves uh, in the playoffs at the end of the year. And shout out to their skipper. I think he won Manager of the Year for the AL last year, I believe. So
Mark Otze.
yeah, so I mean he's doing good things there in Cleveland. We'll see how things shape up. Next on the slate from opening day weekend, we've got the Reds versus the Red Sox. The Reds take the series. This surprised me, 2-1, and this is one of those gritty, grinded out performances, clutch hitting, late game execution, big swing and big moments. They didn't dominate; they out competed, and that's a dangerous identity. Boston flashes of offense, but not enough consistency yet. Tyler, let me ask you about the Cincinnati Reds because I feel like, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I think the Red Sox is going to have a good season. We'll get to more on them in just a second. But the Cincinnati Reds, I feel like they have a good core unit and they can have a good season and potentially take that third spot in the NL Central as of right now. Again, we'll see what happens with the Pirates because the Pirates made some moves too this offseason, and it could be between them and the Reds taking the third spot in the NL Central. But I feel like if the Reds stay healthy, that's a big if because right now Hunter Green is on the IL. He's not looking like he's going to come back until maybe August, which may could be a good thing for the Reds getting their number one ace back towards the last half of the season, especially if they're in good standings to make a playoff push. Also, Nick Lodolo is on the IL. So going into the opening day weekend, or honestly going into the season, even before opening day weekend and those two got hurt, I was thinking as long as their core unit stays healthy, the Reds could have a great season, but that's depending on if they stay healthy. Because I think if one person, one of those key members, ends up hurt or out of the fold, then things could potentially fall apart. What do you think? Where do you see the Reds at after opening day weekend?
Cincinnati could be. I don't know if surprise is the right word because a lot of people have high expectations for the Reds this year. But yeah, if their pitching can hold up and stay healthy, Hunter Green coming back is going to be huge. My biggest thing with them, Eugenio Suarez he's going to hit you home runs. Ellie De La Cruz is going to have to take that next level, that next jump up. Uh, for
Yeah,
this team to go further than they have been in the past, and B, I mean, he's been talked about being this MVP caliber player. Will show us. Cut down on the strikeouts, man. If he can cut down on the strikeouts, put the ball in play more rather than I mean, I know this is no crap, Tyler, but put the ball in play more than he strikes out. Dude, when he puts the ball in play, his speed is his greatest weapon. And that's coming from a
absolutely.
guy who has a great arm. He has some power. He has good range at short. But his speed, man, his speed is the difference maker. And if he can just put the ball in play more and cut down on the strikeouts, the Reds are going to be nasty, man. The Reds are going to be one of those top teams that you could almost even argue when they're 100% healthy. And if Ellie De La Cruz is making that jump to that next level, that MVP caliber level, then you could
Yeah,
argue and make a run for the division for sure.
yeah. Matt McClain was almost leading, I think, every offensive stat just about in spring
Uh,
training,
Yeah, and 2
and
years ago, I wanna say 2 years ago, Matt McClain was the guy on this team. I wanna even say he may have even made the All-Star team that year, and then his last 2 seasons, I wanna say he got hurt and then just had a really down year the next year.
yeah,
But yeah, he's another guy that if he's even
stout.
if he even shows a glimpse of 2, maybe 3 seasons ago, dude, look out.
Yeah,
And
and,
I hate
and
saying that because 'cause we're Cubs fans.
right, we got to watch out for South Stewart too. You know,
Yep.
he's already got one homer for the year, two RBIs, 8 hits. His average is already 667. You know, I know there's only been what 4 games now at this
Mhm.
point, but I mean, still there's some optimism there around him. Eugenio Suarez looks comfortable back at home, hitting at Great American Small Park, as we call it. So yeah, you know, we'll see what happens with them. Now shifting to the Red Sox, I really like the starting pitching. The bullpen isn't bad. Do you think they have enough offensive depth to withstand the schedule this year and make a playoff push, a deep playoff push?
That's been the biggest question since this offseason after losing Alex Bregman. Is the offense going to hold up? Roman Anthony was solid this series. He had some hard hits. But
Yeah.
Guys like Duran, I know Trevor Story is not the guy that he was just a few seasons ago, but he's a guy that's going to have to win. And when he's healthy, he can do it. I want to say last year he had a 2020 season. Um,
Mhm.
but Trevor Story is another guy that's going to have to step up. Willie Abreu looked good this series. Um, but yeah, they're a team that their offense will be the reason whether or not they make or break it this year. And it wouldn't shock me at all if they made it, depending on how it goes early this season. It wouldn't shock me at all if they made a move for a bat.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. I think that's probably one of the biggest acquisitions they'll try to make, excuse me, at the trade deadline. But we'll see what happens.
Yep.
I know there's some very disgruntled Red Sox fans out there for them not extend or not getting
Hey,
Alex Bregman. Or,
on the bright side, Garrett Crochet looked like Garrett Crochet of last year, so there's positive too.
yeah, man, he just straight dealing. I think he had
Yeah,
like what close to 10 Ks maybe. So
something. Yeah,
he's just doing what Garrett Crochet does, baby.
yeah.
He's back. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep you posted on all of that. Moving on to the next series on the slate, we've got the Orioles versus the Twins. Baltimore wins the series, and the headline here is pretty simple. They look like a team that expects to win. Confident
Yeah.
at bats, solid pitching, and just a presence that says, we're not here to develop anymore. We're here to compete. Minnesota wasn't bad, but Baltimore just looked sharper. Tyler, do you think that this is finally going to be the season where the Orioles break out of that slump that they've been in like the past two or
It
three
has to be.
seasons?
It has to be, Steve. We've talked about it for the last several years. It's been all these young kids in Oriole, and all the young kids on the Orioles coming up, and blah blah blah. No, this is that window that they talked about 3 years ago, that World Series playoff contending window, whatever you want to call it. They're in that window right now, so
Yeah.
they have to produce. Especially they're at a time right now, especially with some of these young players, that they're not paying them that much right now. They're paying them a lot. A lot of them are just still on their rookie contracts, and minus guys like Pete Alonso. But yeah, they look pretty solid. I didn't watch much of this series. I know Pete Alonso got his first RBI, I want to say, in the second game. It's going to be interesting to see if guys like Adley Rushman can step up. Jackson Holiday can continue to improve from the season before. If guys like Shane Baz, I know he just signed an extension. He's a
Yeah.
guy that I feel like they have a lot of
5
high
years.
expectations.
He
5 years, yeah.
broke a record. He's got the biggest contract now for a starting pitcher in Orioles history ever. I think I heard yesterday.
That's
It's like
crazy because
it's a little over 60 million, I think is what it was.
and that right there, Steve, the starting pitching, that will be the almost the exact opposite of the Red Sox. The starting pitching is what's going to be the question for the Orioles, because you just traded Grayson Rodriguez to the Angels, even though he didn't really he had moments where he was showing like some promise, but they said, "Hey, we're going to haul you off and get," and they got Taylor Ward in return. Taylor Ward's a guy that is really really good. Um, but their starting pitching, yes, is going to be the biggest question. I know Trevor Rogers had a good year last year. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be the biggest question mark for the Orioles is, can this starting pitching hold up and get and help lead your team to the playoffs? Because you know what you got in the offense. That offense can hit with just about any offense in the league. It's, can that starting pitching
Yeah.
hold up?
Gunnar was looking good last night too,
Oh, and Gunnar
was
Henderson,
great.
of course, yeah.
Which was great to see. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a better year for the Orioles for sure.
For sure.
Next up on the slate from opening weekend, we got the Mets versus the Pirates. This series had some juice. The Mets came in with expectations, and they showed flashes. But Pittsburgh did not back down. Extra innings, competitive games, young talent showing up. This felt like a statement from the Pirates. Not that they're contenders yet, but that they're not going to be easy wins over them anymore. Hot take: Pirates are no longer a free win. Pittsburgh is officially competitive. They pushed the Mets. They fought in extra innings, showed real energy. On the negative side, competitive doesn't mean good. They still may lose 90-plus games, but Tyler, are they ahead of schedule in their rebuild, and could they play spoiler this year, at least in the NL Central?
They could be a team, depending on how healthy their starting rotation is, when they get everybody back. Yeah, they're a team, at least the pitching staff, that I would not want to face late in the season. When you're fighting for a spot. It was nice to see, at least with the Pirates, it was nice to see the guys they did pick up in Brandon Lau and Ryan O'Hearn. Brandon Lau, I want to say, had like 4 home runs this series. Ryan O'Hearn had a homer as well. Paul Skeens, man,
had a bad start.
Was it
kind of due? Was it
O'Neal Cruz did not help him. Oh, maybe I should start it over. O'Neal Cruz, man. Gosh, can we just say he's not a center fielder? He's not.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to have to put him in the corner spot somewhere.
That's the flaw with ERA sometimes, right? Because sometimes there's things out of the pitcher's control.
Because technically he did give up 5 earned runs, but 2 of those, like there was 2 plays back to back that were considered hits. They should not have been hits. I'm just wondering how long it's going to be till Paul Skeens. Yeah, until Paul Skeens, especially in the post-game interviews, like is just becomes vividly frustrated with this team, with this organization, even though, like you said, they did compete this series. But man, it's just, especially after he just came from playing with Team USA and I get it. Nobody has a team like Team USA. I guess you could say the Dodgers, but other than that, man, to go from Team USA to go back to when you had PCA in center catching everything, Byron Buxton in center catching everything, and then you go from that to O'Neal Cruz, and it's just a freaking coin flip circus / roller coaster whether or not he's going to catch the ball. I don't know, because right field, you've got, I believe, Brian Reynolds is your right fielder. I don't know who their left fielder is, but gosh, like, I just don't know why. Maybe maybe he improves this season. I don't know. But other than that, the Mets, man, the Mets look like the real deal. The Mets look like they're going to be a contending team this year. I mean, that's no
Yeah.
surprise. Another thing
And be
with them is,
patient, Mets fans. Sorry to cut you off, but be patient with Bo Bichette. He did get a
yeah,
couple boos this weekend. So did Bryce Harper.
he's gonna get your hits. He's gonna collect the hits.
Yeah.
Their other question too, obviously, with a lot of teams, is going to be their starting pitching. But right now, the Mets look pretty freaking solid.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that. Next up on the slate, we got the Astros versus the Angels. This one was pure offense, high scoring games, back and forth energy, and Houston doing what Houston does, closing games late. That's the difference. Even when it gets messy, even when it's not clean baseball, the Astros find ways to win, and that's why they're always, in my opinion, in the conversation. Another hot take on the Astros. I got all kinds of hot takes for you guys this morning. Houston is still the team to beat. Hot take. They win messy games, clean games, high-scoring games. Doesn't matter. They close. Now, on the negative side, pitching concerns are real. You know, their new star pitcher, Amai, didn't have the best outing. I think he barely pitched maybe 4 innings. They're not
Yeah.
as dominant as past years. But, Tyler, would you trust Houston or the Yankees in a playoff series? And are the Astros declining or just evolving?
Oh, I would definitely take New York over the Astros easy. I wouldn't say they're declining though. They still got some young players that you still got Hunter Brown in that rotation. I think
Yes,
Amai's
stud.
still going to be pretty solid. You've got Jordan Alvarez in your
Oh,
DH
yeah.
spot. He hit a home run this weekend. Anytime you have Altuve, I don't care how old he is, where he's playing, Altuve is going to give you quality at bats. Correa, I don't want to pitch to Correa in the playoffs. He's a playoff player, so I'm not worried about that. Cam Smith looked like he improved from last season. People forget that Christian Walker is still on this team. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure how. Let me see real quick. But he's a guy that just a few seasons ago
Got him from the Diamondbacks, right?
was solid for the Diamondbacks. But they still have a solid lineup. They still have some solid pitchers. I'm not out on Amai yet. I think he just had a bad first start. But they're going to be solid. And with the Angels, it was nice to see that they put up a fight against a team like the Astros, splitting the series. You can almost argue that's a win for the Angels. Mike Trout, Magic Mike Trout, he's back.
Getting ready to say, is
two
Mike
home
Trout
runs
back?
already. Jorge Soler with a couple home runs this series. Zach Neto, he had a home run this series, looked really solid. The Angels' offense isn't bad. It's really not.
Yeah.
Just said with the last series.
Looked bad last night.
Minus last night. But
Thank you, Cabrera.
yeah, I agree. The Astros they're still going to be the team. I don't know. I think Seattle's better than Houston, but they're still right up there as one of the tougher teams to play, at least in the AL.
Absolutely. I would agree with that. And man, it just feels good. Breathe a little easier, smile a little bit bigger, seeing Mike. It just feels right. Mike
It
Trout,
does.
a
It
healthy
does feel
Mike
right.
Trout,
It does.
playing good baseball. Because, like, him and Shohei, man, there a couple of years ago, it just was like these two guys are the dudes. And, arguably one of the best baseball players ever in the modern day and age, in my opinion, with Mike Trout. So, yeah, I'm just so happy for him, man. I hope he can stay healthy this season, and hopefully he has a really good season along with the Angels. Just not tonight or tomorrow night, please.
Yeah, of course. Let's hope. And if he does have a good series, let's just hope it's in like an 11-0 game that they're losing, and he just hits, a couple garbage time home runs to make it 11-2 or 11-1 or something like that.
Absolutely.
But great to see Mike Trout back.
1,000%. Next up on the slate, and I actually watched one of the games from this series, and I got a little frustrated. it was the Rays and the Cardinals.
Oh gosh.
And I think the Cardinals are giving little slimmers of hope to Cardinals fans. We'll see what happens. But we've discussed it before. I love playing the Cardinals when the Cardinals are good. It just feels good. But Tampa Bay came out swinging, literally big offensive numbers, tons of hits, pressure every inning. And here's the thing about the Rays: they don't rely on stars; they rely on systems and execution. And early in the season, that gives them an edge. St. Louis, they got overwhelmed. But I think it was the first or second game, maybe, of the series where they were up like 7-0 and then just completely fell apart towards the last half of the game. And the Cardinals came back. But hot take, Tampa is more dangerous than teams with bigger names. They consistently produce offense without stars, they're sustainable. But on the flip side, they still need star power in October. Systems only go so far. We saw that the past couple of years with the Milwaukee Brewers. Can Tampa actually win a World Series like this, Tyler? And would you rather have their roster or a star heavy team?
Well, I'm going to say no, they can't win a World Series just because they haven't. I mean, they've made it that one season. But with that being
Yeah.
said, they can still be playoff contenders. They prove that year in and year out. I know these last few seasons hasn't been what they were probably planning on, but they're a team that knows how to take their young players and develop them into solid major league players. And they're just overall as a team, playing as a team, they are just very fundamentally good. You could say the same thing about the
Yeah.
Cardinals this past series, as much as I hate to say it. But like you said, Steve, it's more fun playing the Cardinals and beating the Cardinals when they're good.
1,000%. 1,000%. Next up on the slate, we've got the Brewers and the White Sox. Milwaukee showed something really important: resilience. They battled back, won games late, and they didn't panic when things got tight. That's a playoff trait. The White Sox, on the other hand, still feel like a team trying to figure out who they are. And who was it? Came in and pinched hit, and got a homer. Oh, why am I drawing a blank?
Oh, Christian Yelich.
Christian Yelich.
Yep.
Christian Yelich just comes in off the bench and just, I saw the post game interview. Of course, he's just like, yeah, I just wanted to, put the ball in play, make good contact, one pitch at a time. Gets a freaking homer. I mean, the Brewers, man, I think going into this season, their future on win, the over under on their win total was something ridiculously
It was. It
stupid,
was. I want
like
to say it was in the
87.
80s. Yeah, it was in the
Yeah, it's like
80s
87 or 88 games. I mean, do you think that they're going to make a deep run and potentially make the
Oh,
NLCS again this year?
for sure. I'm telling you, there. I said it on our Cubs on Tap show the other night, or in our preseason show or whatever. The Brewers are the Brewers until they prove that they're not. The Brewers are going
Facts.
to be the top of they're going to be at the top of that division until somebody knocks them off. You can take away their aces every year. It doesn't matter. They figure out a way. And here's the thing: Jackson Churio is not on the team right now. Arguably their best everyday player. I wasn't shocked. I mean, I get it. It is the White Sox, but I wasn't shocked that the Brewers were able to come back and beat them every single game that they did. And they're a tough place to play it's a tough place to play at home. The Brewers, it is a hard place to play at home. It was nice to
Yeah.
see Murakami hit home runs in 3 games. It was
Yeah.
nice to see Colson Montgomery get a home run there. He's a guy that they've had a lot of high expectations for a young player. But yeah, I wasn't surprised to see the Brewers come back and win every single one of those games because again, in my opinion, they're a top 3 team in the National League.
And, something that doesn't get talked about enough, especially with Milwaukee in this past season, I think it was right around the All-Star break, if I'm not mistaken. They started to heat up, and then even after the All-Star break, didn't they go on like almost a 20-game winning streak? And
It
yeah,
wouldn't surprise
just
me. I mean, that's just how they are.
I'm pretty sure.
Pat Murphy knows how to push the right buttons in that clubhouse. He's such a chemistry guy for a team that doesn't have. I mean, you have Christian Yelich and Jackson Churio and William Contreras, but like you've got a lot of
Yeah.
just really young players, and he knows how to push the right buttons.
I mean, my hat's off to the Brewers. Fantastic organization, how they run things. That front office sucks to say that as a Cubs fan, but you got to give respect where respect's due. Pat Murphy does a tremendous job, and like we see it all the time, they'll have a player like Devin Williams or Freddie Peralta has a year left on their contract, and they'll trade them away and get some young guys. That way, they have more team control over them and just develop them, and they fit well into their lineup and into what they've got going on. So, yeah, it's not over until it's over. You can't sleep on the Brewers. We'll see what happens this season, and as it looks right now, they're the team to beat in the NL Central. Next up on the slate, we got the Royals versus the Atlanta Braves. This may be the biggest surprise of the weekend, Tyler. Kansas City takes the series over Atlanta, and they didn't do it with power. They did it with pitching and discipline. They controlled the pace, limited mistakes, and made the Braves uncomfortable. That's how you beat a more talented team. Now, hot take, Kansas City exposed a flaw in Atlanta. Crazy. They beat them without power, controlled the game. That means Atlanta can be neutralized. Now, it is early still, obviously. Braves are too talented for that to matter long term, but do the Braves struggle versus strong pitching teams, and are the Royals actually sneaky good this season?
For some reason, did the Braves not win that series?
I don't think so. Let me double check.
For some reason, I thought the Braves, because they won Saturday 6-2, they won Friday 6-0, and then Sunday the Royals won 4-1. Yeah, I believe the Braves. I think the Braves won that series.
They did win that series. You're right. But the Royals, they did, show some sneaky stuff in there and kind of exposed them a little bit.
I wasn't surprised to see the Royals thing is going to be, can all those guys click together behind Bobby Witt Jr.? Can Jack Caglione take a step forward? Can Vinny P, can he continue to improve from last season and then coming off a very good WBC? The Braves, I wasn't surprised to see with their offense, because when this offense is clicking, they're really, really good. I know their pitching isn't the best right now, even though Chris Sale was very good, 6 innings, no runs. I believe he had 6 strikeouts. Very, very, very good, very Chris Sale-like. The kicker for the Braves is just going to be if those guys can stay healthy, especially their starting pitchers, if they can come back. Guys like
Strider's already on the IL, yeah.
They're going to, and if that's the case, their offense is going to have to carry their team for sure. This, especially
got to stay healthy.
Yeah, for sure. Acuna's the kicker. Acuna's the key. He's got to be that MVP caliber player that he's been in the past. Matt Olson's going to have to be that homer bashing guy that he's been before. And you get Austin Riley back from last season after getting hurt. But yeah, I believe the Braves, their offense is going to have to carry him for sure.
Absolutely. Next up on the slate, we got the Texas Rangers against the Philadelphia Phillies. Texas looked dangerous.
They did.
Power hitting, timely offense, and the ability to put runs up quickly. They didn't dominate every inning, but when they scored in bunches. Philadelphia had moments, but not enough consistency to take control of the series. Is the Rangers going to be the better Texas team this year in MLB? What do you think,
Tyler? I believe so. Yeah. I believe you've got Seattle as number 1 in that division. And then you've got Texas and Houston just neck and neck. And I think right now I'd give the edge to Texas just because of that starting pitching. Mackenzie Gore looked so good the other day. I believe it was on Sunday. I know Nate Eovaldi took the loss, but Nate Eovaldi still looked good. I know we're talking about opening day, but yesterday Jack Leiter looked really solid. You've got a Jacob DeGrom coming back sometime soon. You've got the possibility of a guy like Kumar Rocker coming up. And so, yeah, this weekend against a really good Phillies team, you had Corey Seager smacking a home run. Andrew McCutchen, a guy that the Pittsburgh Pirates didn't want nothing to do with him. and he just first series of opening day has a very, I want to say he had 2 home runs. He had a double.
Yeah,
Jake Berger had, I believe, 5 or 6 hits with 2 home runs. He went 3 for 4 one game. Um, if Texas can continue to do stuff like that, Texas is going to be a tough team in that division as well.
don't mess with Texas, baby.
Don't mess with
Don't mess
Texas.
with
And I
Texas.
know, again, it's early. Phillies, they're going to be in it all season long.
Absolutely. All right, Tyler, up next, we got the Nationals
Oh,
versus the
I was
Cubs.
wondering when we were going to talk about this.
It's up next, man. Washington wins the series. Dang it. And this is one of those early season reminders. Don't sleep on teams that play clean baseball. They
Yeah.
didn't overpower the Cubs. They just executed better. Better pitching decisions, better situational hitting, fewer mistakes. And early in the season, that's often the difference. Tyler, do the Cubs still need to figure out their identity and who they want to be this year?
I think the Cubs, just the weather, the, like you said, the Nationals took advantage. The Nationals took
Really bad
advantage of,
pitching.
they took advantage of really bad pitching, and they took advantage of the situation as far as
We synced it. We were there.
just the way, like, Wrigley's a tough place to play, but they showed that they were able to step up to the challenge. The issue with Chicago, in my opinion, is going to be their starting pitching. Can their starting pitching hold up? Who's the 1 or 2 guys in that rotation that the sure thing, the surefire? I mean, technically
Cade Horton.
they don't have that number one ace right now, but who's that guy that is going to step up and be like, this is the guy I want in an elimination game. This is the ace. Who's the ace? Who is that guy? As far as the offense, I'm not worried yet. I'm not hitting the panic button yet. Especially, you've got Seiya Suzuki supposedly coming back. I don't know if it's sooner rather than later. I've heard different reports, but I'm not nervous
Yeah.
yet, because once Seiya Suzuki gets back in that lineup, then PCA, because PCA is not going to be your normal number 4 hitter. But the Nats, man, Joey Weimer 6 for 6 this series was just, I did not want to see Joey Weimer anymore. He just
I
looked
mean,
that
he
good.
just reached down there at the
I know,
bottom
just poked
corner
it
of
out
the
of there
plate and just
to
poked it
right
out of
field.
there, dude.
Yeah. Ian Happ getting hot though. It was nice to see
He
him
got
hit.
robbed though. He got
He
was it
got
the
robbed on the first game. Again, classic case of
it
Wrigley
cut
Field.
him off like 125 feet, I think I heard,
Yeah, it
because
was
of the wind.
crazy
It would have been on Sheffield. It would have
for
been on
sure.
Sheffield.
It was nice to see Alex Bregman hit 2 home runs. It was nice to see Miggy Amaya hit the first home run for Chicago this year. He was a guy that
That was
last
great.
year finished the season off on the injury bug. Michael Busch looks solid, but overall,
Yeah.
hey, props to the Nats. They took advantage of a road series. It was a crappy situation as far as the weather. The weather was just especially on Thursday. But hey, they showed up.
And get off Matt Shaw, everybody. Okay, we were
Yeah.
at the first game. You got to understand, especially if you've never been to Wrigley Field before. We witnessed it. Those who's been to Wrigley knows that this wind inside the field was doing this. So people were kind of giving him slack because of a ball that he caught. Because he jumped up in the air to catch it, because he just, I guess, didn't look like how certain right fielders would have caught it. But that's the thing, the wind was doing this. It was swirling like crazy. They call it the Windy City for a reason. Until Seiya gets back, right field is interesting to me. Matt Shaw looked great last night. He had a pinch hit and had a single. Maybe it was a
I think so.
double. I
Yeah.
think it was just a single. But man, Michael Conforto, one could argue if he has a better glove in right field. He's looked solid so far, but at the plate, man, I kind of feel for him. Michael Conforto looks he's just late, it seems like,
Oh yeah,
on every
for
swing.
sure.
Edwin Cabrera had his first start last night and looked great, didn't allow any runs. Very super excited about him. Excited about Cade Horton. Cade Horton just looks like he's just picking up where he left off. I'm very excited to see when Jackson Wiggins may potentially get called up and pitch this year.
For sure.
And Javier Assad, he started in AAA for Iowa. We'll see when he gets called up. I'm starting to lose. I keep losing faith in Ben Brown. We'll see what happens there. And we'll see how this bullpen shapes up. But I'm with you. I think the biggest question mark for me and maybe most Cubs fans is what does the starting pitching look
Yep,
like? I think
for
it's
sure.
potentially going to be the last year for Shota Imanaga. We'll see what happens. Could potentially be the last year. This could be like a farewell tour for a couple. Could be a
He's
farewell tour for Ian
Shota's the
Happ as
guy.
well.
Shota's the guy. If there's one guy in that rotation that's on a short leash this season, I think he's the first guy that's on that short leash. A guy that
Yeah,
I want to say he finished fourth in home runs last season as far as home runs given up. I know he only gave
yeah,
up 4 runs on Sunday, but that first inning, giving up that home run after giving up back to back hits, it was just like, oh gosh, here we go again. But he's a
exactly.
guy that's going to have to keep the ball in the yard, and if not that, he's a guy that's going to have to keep runners off the base when he does give up home runs. He cannot have a lot of traffic on the bases because he doesn't have that. Oh, I mean, he does get his strikeouts with a splitter, but he doesn't have that overpowering stuff like a Paul Skeens or a Screwball that can work
Yeah.
out of those jams a lot easier. So he's a guy that I feel like is on. He's going to be on a short leash this year, I think.
Two things to end with the Cubs Nationals series. If you're a Cubs fan like we are, the best news, baby, is we have locked up that infield for the
Yeah,
foreseeable
that was
future.
awesome.
That feels so great. And Tyler, did you know that Zach Littell is on the Nationals?
No, I didn't know that.
Didn't know that either until yesterday. I was thinking he was still on the Reds. I don't know why Cincinnati let him go. That
Yeah,
was like maybe one of the best top five, arguably top three pickups from any team
yeah.
during the after the trade deadline last year. So yeah, I didn't know that either. And um, Cubs are currently playing the Angels. Didn't Drew Pomerantz get picked up by the Angels? Right?
He did. Yep.
Maybe we'll see him tonight or
We
tomorrow.
might. Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
It's good to see him still playing.
Absolutely. Moving right along, next up on the slate from opening day weekend, we got the Detroit Tigers versus the Padres. San Diego handled business at home. Nothing flashy, just controlled, confident baseball, man. And that's exactly a great sign for them because when a team knows exactly how they want to win games, they're dangerous over a long season. Detroit competed, but San Diego looked like the more complete team. Tyler, which team do you think goes longer into the playoffs this year? Detroit or San
Uh,
Diego?
I think it's did the Tigers? I thought the Tigers won 2 out of 3 in that,
They did, but
but
San Diego had some
who-
flashes.
they did.
Had
They
some
had some
flashes for
flashes of
sure.
stuff, but I'm telling you, man, anytime you've got Screwball starting for you as your number one, uh, yeah, dude, that's going to be tough to beat. I feel like they're the easy favorites for the AL Central. Their biggest kicker is going to be what's their offense? What's the identity of their offense? I know. The shortstop. What was his name? McGonigal. Kevin McGonigal had an awesome opening weekend series. He's a guy that's probably going to get himself bumped up in that lineup sooner rather than later. They're a team though that they're going to need some offensive help, possibly, probably, if they want to see
Yeah,
themselves get further into the playoffs. But I feel like it's the Tigers. I feel like as good as the Padres are and could be this season. I know Jake Cronenworth looked very good,
yeah, man.
but I feel like between those two teams, I would have to pick the Tigers going a little bit further, and also because the Padres play in such a tough division.
Absolutely. Who's in the back end? Who's the closer for the Tigers? I
For
can't
the
remember.
Tigers right now, it's Kenley Jansen. They picked him up
Kenley
this
Jansen.
last offseason.
And of course, we know Mason Miller is the closer for the Padres. I don't want to
Yeah,
see Mason Miller in the
that's a
playoffs.
nasty. Which, hey, by the way, did you see his brand new entrance?
Oh, it's is it the Corn song?
Yeah, it's
He
Corn.
walks out the corn. Yeah, some of the guys. Chris sent that to me the other
He
day.
walked
It's so
out
sick.
to, was it Blind by Corn?
I think so. Yeah,
Oh, it was awesome. Like
that
that
was
was so cool.
super sick, man. All right, to wrap things up, on all the series games for opening day weekend. Big picture takeaways. So, if we zoom out for a second, Tyler, what did we actually learn from opening weekend? Number one, the contenders are already separating: Dodgers, Yankees, Blue Jays. They didn't ease into the season, they established control immediately. Number two, pitching is ahead of hitting right now. Multiple shutouts, dominant outings, the typical early season baseball, but some teams are clearly ahead of the curve. And number three, offense is still explosive when it clicks. Astros, Rays, Rangers, when those teams get rolling, they can score fast. And that's going to create a lot of volatility early in the season. And last, the underdogs are dangerously early. Royals, Nationals, Reds, Marlins. These teams are playing loose, aggressive, and confident, and that's when they're the most dangerous. So to wrap things up on that, and here's the biggest thing: it's only one weekend, but you can already see who's prepared, who has an identity, and who's still figuring it out. And in baseball, those early signals usually mean something. So to end things here on this episode, got a little bit of betting stuff for you
Hey,
guys
real quick
out
though,
there.
one
Yeah.
more thing that we have not mentioned this whole episode from this weekend. The ABS system is
Oh
here to
yeah.
stay, and it is electric.
Yeah.
CB Buckner, you are the new Angel Hernandez. If you guys have
Oh
not
man,
seen
that
that
was
clip,
bad. That was bad.
I believe it was Saturday. Eugenio Suarez on back-to-back pitches challenged CB Buckner's ball call in a bases loaded situation and won each time. The best part about this thing so far is
Man.
when the home team's player wins the challenge, just the showing it up on the video board and then that umpire having to admit that he was wrong and the crowd going nuts. It is awesome. I love it. I'm calling it right now, though. There will be a hot headed umpire sometime early this season because they're going to get sick and tired of it probably because they feel like, oh man, my job is getting graded live right now in front of 30 plus thousand people. There is going to be an umpire that's going to get so hot headed, they're going to lose a challenge. I say it's going to get overturned. A player's going to an umpire is going to think that a player has said some type of comment, some type of smart aleck remark, like "so you told you," and they're going to get ticked off and they're going to throw that player out. It's happening. There's going to be a time where that umpire is going to let
Yeah.
the moment just get the best of him. He's going to be pissed off because he's been challenged in front of again 30 plus thousand people,
Oh, it's
and
going to be great.
it's going to be great.
I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. Are the Yankees on auto bet right now? Should we just ride the Yankees every game this week? Elite pitching
Uh,
equals consistent wins. Confidence is
I'm
high early. Market still may be or I'm sorry, undervaluing them. But on the flip side, odds will inflate fast, right? Gives you bad value. Public money is about to pile in. Regression always hits early on hot teams. But are you betting on the Yankees or betting against the hype? What do you think? Should we ride the Yankees this week?
who are they playing this week again?
They
They're playing
are the
Seattle right
Mariners.
now. They're playing
Yeah.
Seattle right now. Well, oh boy, I would not ride them at least that easy right now because I mean it's Seattle. Seattle's tough, and New York is a tough place to play. It's New York, dude,
Yeah.
and you've already had people already calling out Aaron Judge for being a bum, and then he turns around and just does what he does the next two games as far as opening day. But I don't know. I think I'm taking Seattle at home.
I like that. Are the Dodgers a run line machine? Is it just best just to go ahead and take Dodgers on the spread? That's probably where the more
Oh, you
value is
should
at
for
than on the
sure.
money line.
Just
I mean, deep
every single
lineup,
game for sure. By the
elite
end of the year,
bullpen,
Steve, you're not going to lose money.
right? You may have to bet a little bit more money on the run. They're like what, minus
Just
200
throw your
right
house
now.
on it for the season. Just throw the value of your house on it this whole entire season. Trust me, you're not going to lose. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
Don't worry
Do you
about it.
think the
Just do it.
Dodgers are the safest bet in baseball or the most overpriced team in baseball?
Oh, they're the safest bet. Easy, easy. I mean, there's no.
There you go. I like it.
I say there's no question. There's no argument. There's really not until something drastic happens. Until we find out there's some just ridiculous underground story about a lot of those players that we don't know about or something. Yeah, it's easy. The Dodgers, bet your life on it. Not
Exactly.
seriously, guys, but you know.
And are the Blue Jays one of the best teams for ROI right now, return on investment? Pitch and plush power combo, not as hyped as Yankees Dodgers, so that means the odds are not as inflated or in the money, if you will, as like the Dodgers or the Yankees. I mean, they did just play Oakland, inflated perception, of course, unknown consistency, market corrections coming. Are the Blue Jays legit or are bettors about to get trapped? What do you think?
Oh, they're legit, dude. Especially at home. You could argue that at home they are the toughest team to play at home. You add a Dylan Cease this offseason. You look incredible this past weekend. You've got a nasty rotation. You've got Vladdy in the middle of that lineup, dude. Yeah, they're going to be all right.
And underdogs equal early season gold, maybe. Dogs are the move right now. Less data equals more variance. Favorites overpriced. Teams like the Royals, Nationals already cashing. Now, the flip side of that is there is a talent gap. Still matters with some of these teams. Good teams stabilize quickly. You'll burn a bankroll chasing dogs, that's for sure. But are you hunting dogs or are you sticking with the proven teams? What do you think? Should you hunt the dogs or should we stick with the Dodgers
I mean,
and the Ladorias and the
there's a
Yankees?
couple teams if you're trying to make, trying to win a couple underdog bets and stuff like that. There's a couple teams that I would consider like we just talked about Miami, man. I
Mm-hmm.
know on paper, they're not the sexiest team on paper. Miami occasionally will figure out a way. Just a few seasons ago, they made it to the playoffs. I want to say they played the Phillies in what was it, 23? Maybe right around
23, I believe,
23.
yeah.
I'm not sleeping on the Marlins, man. I'm really not.
Yeah,
I think they're going to play. I think they're going to play spoiler to a lot of teams this year, and at the same time, I think they're going to contend for a playoff spot.
absolutely. And one of my favorite personal ways to bet is I love live betting. So is
Oh
the
yeah,
Astros like equal live betting gold right now? Bet Houston live, not pregame if you're going to bet Houston, in my opinion. Do your own research. I'm not a professional better or anything like that. This is just my opinion, but I like betting Houston live if I'm doing some live bets right now because they win late, often trail early, which equals better odds. Elite clutch factor. I mean, on the flip side, risk strategy if they fall behind big. There's always that. Markets adjust quickly, requires timely discipline. Of course, you got to make sure you're locked in and you kind of evaluating, seeing what's going on, who's up in the bullpen, all those things. But are the Astros the best in-game team in baseball to live bet? I'm going to go with yes. What do you think?
I'll be honest. I've never done a live in game bet. Never done it. So
I feel like that's what I'm best at. I mean, you can do your homework to a degree, but you just don't know until the game starts. You know
I'm
what kind
the
of happens.
I'm the wuss that would just pick on the Dodgers games every single time and just try to do that every single time
You
just
double
because
down.
just because of the lineups. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to the Dodgers for the 50th straight night, just if I had to pick one. But
Yeah.
yeah, I may try that this season. Like I said, I've done like like with FanDuel and stuff. I've done the parlays and stuff before the games and everything, but I've never done an
Yeah.
in-game, never done an in-game live bet.
I'm more successful, I feel like, with live betting because after the first couple innings, you kind of get a feel for guys. Or it's like, if I see someone, that's a really good hitter, like with a wrist hitter or whatnot, and maybe the past two at bats, like they're up there working the pitcher, they're getting a bunch of foul balls, and it just feels like any chance they could go yard. So I like things kind of like that. But Tyler, before we get out of here, got any final thoughts? Anything you want to people with?
Park, just the environment, being able to just sit out in the bleachers with our friends. Dude, we even got to hang out in a way with Anthony Rizzo this weekend, so that was cool.
I totally forgot to mention that. Yeah, we
Man,
saw Rizzo at a bar after the game.
It's back. Baseball is back. It's time to fire up your hit up your buddies that are your friends that are fans of your rival teams and talk the smack, talk the crap. Let them know how bad their team is. Let them know how bad that your team is going to smack around their teams. Steve, we've got Christmas. Christmas is back.
Christmas is back. Baseball's back. Tyler Edmonds, everybody. I'm Steve Jewell. Thank you all for tuning in. Another episode of the Dugout Dispatch. We'll be with you all baseball season. All 162 plus, baby. Baseball's here, our favorite time of the year. We're out of here. We'll see you in the next episode.
Later.